are starting to question exactly how the meat placed on their dinner table ends up on their plate. Well-known companies, public schools, and even local restaurants have been reevaluating their foods choices and officially now are offering meat-free options. This is forcing Americans to become more involved in the quality and origin of their meats. The release of numerous documentaries, filmed videos, and news articles have completely shifted this meat-eating dilemma past health reasons and into new grounds, ethical and environmental. So the argument in great part consists of the moral issue of this practice. American novelist Jonathan Safran Foer argued this point in his unapologetic yet slightly humorous essay, Let Them Eat Dog. In his modest proposal, he reasons that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. The comparison between eating dogs, which he presents in his essay, and commonly eating animals such as pigs is made in efforts to depict the logic behind many meat eaters' thought process in selecting what animals are okay to eat and what animals are not. Most of us will cringe in the thought of cooking up your little chihuahua and serving it to your family members, but this is common in many other countries, and yet they don't cook their cattle. So you can see here the comparison of what different, the selections that meat eaters choose to have and what they decide to eat. He states that the simple fact is that our taboo against dog eating always says something about dogs and a great deal about us. Now, many will argue that humans have always eaten animals and they will always continue eating animals as they should, but Sonora Taylor is a wheelchair-using animal advocate, and she stated in one of her speeches that the limited interpretations of what is natural and normal lead to the continued oppression of both disabled people and animals. The point is made that just because something is considered natural or normal for humans, and normal for humans to eat animal flesh, doesn't make it appropriate to justify such acts. She also compares that normal ways of people similarly have led to rationalize many dreadful things, such as going against disabled people, or in the 1800s where they had slaves and it was normal to own them and treat them as property. So in this case, it is now applied to animals. Now, not only is this an ethical issue, but it can also be beneficial. This healthy lifestyle is not only able to save your health, but most intriguingly, your beloved wallet. So Toby Castle, the owner of Frank and Beans Company, explained that vegetarian food is certainly less expensive than serving somebody 4 ounces of steak, and only cost a facility serving 100 people $1.36 per resident. So this is evidently a more rational meal plan than trying to give endless pounds of meat from limited herds to 300 million people, which is the population of America today. So my next visual is the comparison of the prices, which I'm probably 100% sure all you guys have seen in your grocery, the comparison of the higher prices of meat compared to the lower prices. And you may argue with me saying, Lily, of course it's lower for plants because it only takes soil, sun, and water to grow. But that is exactly my next point. The environmental impact of vegetarianism is just as high as its cost effectiveness. A group of scientists led by Alice Rossi prepared an article in which they gathered all their research on the carbon, water, and ecological footprints left by omnivores, which are meat eaters, ovo-lacto-vegetarians, which are vegetarians that don't eat meat but do consume some animal products such as dairy, and vegans that don't consume any animal products. The 3 factors that were accounted for in this experiment was the greenhouse gas emissions, the consumption of water resources, and the amount of biological production, land or sea, that was needed to produce a unit of food product. And their conclusion supported the hypothesis that vegetarian and vegan diets present a clear environmental advantage with respect to the omnivorous one for all three evaluated indicators. So all the farming involved in producing these animal products being demanded for account for an enormous part of the global greenhouse gases and deforestation happening today. So individuals unknowingly or maybe knowingly are contributing to and further advancing the world's climate change issue one hamburger at a time. Now, UK International News The Day published this image during National Vegetarian Week, and it visualizes the true cost of a burger. So it takes 2,800 liters of water, which is equivalent to 90 showers. It takes up 3.6 kilograms of grain, which is enough to feed a family for a whole day. It also takes up 74 kilograms of Amazon forest and 13.5 kilograms of carbon dioxide, which is equivalent to driving 50 miles in a car. All of this to produce one burger. Now you can imagine all of the environmental factors that take up to provide countless of pounds of meat. Now many consumers, meat consumers, are not aware of the impact that their diet is having on the world, but some of them do. And now we find that meat eaters and vegetarian have a common ground, and this is that the opposing party will agree with the pro-vegetarian in that there should be an absolute change in the method of slaughter. Many people will see the Facebook shared videos of animals being brutally murdered for their meat, and they both frown upon the inhumane methods of cultivating meat. However, it is not a big enough change factor to shift people from their killer eating habits. For example, we have Daniel Payne. He is the assistant editor for the College Fix, and he sides with this point of view in claiming that there is a balance in all this chaos, and it is found in humane meat. Now, this sounds great because humane meat is basically the treatment for these animals is very distinctly different compared to the original style. They're giving a little bit more room to walk and roam about, and they're slaughtered in the least pain-induced way. And he finds that this type of meat is great, and it is ethically logical, and it should be what you're eating if you're eating animals. Now, this proposal is great, but there are some faults to it. It engages in quite attractive themes. So lack of action, there's no action towards saving these animals, the continuance in meat indulgences and the impact on the environment, and minimal conformity. This attempt to compromise not only fails in reason, but also in practicality. So human meat is relatively higher in cost, just like we find with organic vegetables. It's hard to compare with their competitors, which is normal processed meat. And even if meat eaters were able to get their hands on these humane meats, sometimes it runs the risk of it being falsely advertised. Now, compromise on this issue, especially on the ethical side of this issue, does not offer a solution to the problem. The care of these animals have been placed in humanity's hands, and it sadly finds itself continuously engrossed in torturous murder. The true solution that will cut off this abuse is vegetarianism.